Hello, everybody, and welcome to a CLNS Red Sox Roundtable Season Preview. I'm Alex Barth, joined by Nick Quaglia and Mike Petraglia, recording this on opening day eve. Depending on when you're watching this, it is either opening day eve or happy opening day to you and yours. Either way, baseball is back, guys. I got to say, 60 degrees on the ride home today, window down, sunflower seeds. It feels like baseball season just in time.
It does. And driving by Fenway Park, for the first time, you could see the breeze and you could walk by and drive by and see fans in short sleeve shirts and not winter coats, jackets, actually walking down, obviously Brookline Avenue and the soon to be probably renamed Yawkey Way and Lansdowne Street. And everybody had a smile on their face. I think there's an air of anticipation every season at this time of year. And obviously there's an air of expectation with these 2018 Red Sox. I think a lot of people are expecting a new attitude, a new approach, and believe it or not, a more mellow Red Sox, which I think after the last couple of years and some of the intensity that came through that made this team, a lot of people would say unlikable. I think that's gone. They've cleaned the air a little bit. And certainly the Red Sox, at least from the fan perspective, I think are getting a fresh start.
Well, you talk about the mixed expectations or the high expectations. If there's one spot on the team that has mixed expectations, it's the starting rotation. Some people think it may be the best in baseball. Others, myself included, think that there are bigger holes than people realize. Nick Quaglia, you're one of these people that says that this starting rotation is good enough to get this team possibly to a World Series. Going into it now, we know about the injuries. They're going to start with 3 of their regular starters, either on the DL or otherwise ineligible. Chris Sale got hit by a line drive last week. He says he's fine, but it's something to monitor. Try to explain to me, because I still don't get it. How are you this confident in this rotation?
Well, mostly because we've seen over the past, especially last year, just how good this team can be and how good this rotation can be. If Drew Pomeranz could not even duplicate what he did last year, but even just kind of be close to what he was last year and be a number 3 or a good number 4 pitcher, he's going to be a big piece to this rotation, because I believe in Chris Sale, just like everybody else does. You know Chris Sale's going to have a great year. You know what you're going to get out of Chris Sale. I think this is where your problem is with this rotation and where I believe, because I think David Price is going to have a very good year. And I know you don't believe in him too much. And I think that's where it comes from, because in my head, if David Price has the year that I think he's going to have, then you have one of the best 1-2 punches in baseball, if not the best 1-2 punch in baseball. And then just go down the line too. Rick Porcello, I don't think he can be better than an okay number 4 pitcher. And once Erod comes back, Erod has a lot of talent. And once he gets healthy, it's been injuries that have just been hobbling him his entire career. If he comes back healthy, Erod has the talent to be, again, a good number 3. So you've got, again, one of the best 1-2 punches in baseball if David Price works out to be the guy that I think he can be. And Drew Pomeranz and Erod, both solid number 3s. And then Rick Porcello, that's a strong number 5. Depth is the problem. Depth is a big problem. But if those 5 can remain relatively healthy through the year, this is a damn good rotation.
And part of keeping them healthy, and I know you both, Nick, you're high on David Price. Trags, I believe you had David Price winning the Cy Young in your predictions that we did. Bold predictions, but still, and you can check those out on clnsmedia.com. But honestly, for Red Sox fans, I think more so than a Cy Young, they'd rather see David Price win a playoff game. Same for Chris Sale. What can Alex Cora and the Red Sox as a whole do early in the season to help those guys be the best they can be come October?
Well, Alex Cora said this week on WEEI, it's all about the process, and we can't worry too much about the results, I think, from day to day. And I think what he's saying there is how I manage the team is going to be for the long term. Because if you believe in this roster and you believe it is a playoff team, and not only a playoff team, but a playoff team capable of getting deep into the ALCS or possibly the World Series, you've got to manage the team like that. You can't spend all your bullets, and obviously that was one of the huge criticisms of John Farrell early last year. Burned out Chris Sale really didn't have anything left in the last 6 weeks of the regular season. We saw that in the playoffs. I think the way Alex Cora is going to look at this is if he gets 6 innings out of, let's say, a David Price on a cold night at Fenway, and he's up around 100 pitches, he's not going into the 7th inning. Same can be said, probably even more so, for Chris Sale. He's going to lean on the bullpen, and that's where I think you should look at really the crux of this team and the focal point of this team early in the season. Guys like Matt Barnes, who have been inconsistent in years past, he's going to have a big role this year. I think you take a look at Matt Barnes, a Heath Hembree, those type of bridge guys to get to the back end of this bullpen, and obviously try to get to Carson Smith and Craig Kimbrel. And I think, obviously, when you talk about the bullpen, Joe Kelly's going to have a big role. You have 3 big arms for the late innings. You have 2 setup guys who I think are going to be big in Matt Barnes and Heath Hembree, and then you see what happens from there.
And there's going to be a lot of new names in this bullpen as well. Carson Smith, we didn't see much of last year. Tyler Thornburg, we didn't see last year. Also, a couple of young kids made the team. Marcus Walden, and a guy I'm really excited for is Bobby Pointer, left-handed pitcher. But don't let it fool you, he's not a lefty specialist. Last year against right-handed hitters in Double-A, opposing batters hit just 125 against him. So I think this is a guy who's going to have to fight for a roster spot early. And it may end up working out very well for the Red Sox. I like the move of keeping him on the roster over a guy who's been there, done that, like Brandon Workman. Real quick here before we wrap it up, Nick Quaglia. Last year it was Joe Kelly who kind of was the surprise arm out of the bullpen. I just gave you a couple guys. Who steps up that we're not looking at this year in the pen?
I feel like it's too obvious, but Trags just said it. I think Matt Barnes is going to be huge for this bullpen this year. The guy has a lot of firepower. He throws heat, and we've seen that he can dominate, and he dominated specifically at home last year. So, or was it away? He dominated more on the road, excuse me. If you can bring that over into Fenway Park too, you've got a guy who you can trust in mostly any situation, because he's not just an 8th inning guy. He's not just a 7th inning guy. He's a guy that you can throw out there for 2.5 innings, 2 2/3 innings. So if you're going to be looking for one arm to be stable in the bullpen for the entire year, I think you got to look at Matt Barnes. And I know it's not really a sexy answer that we're going to be looking for, but this guy is going to be important for the long, and not only for the success of this bullpen, but just the longevity too. Because if you stick him out there in the 7th inning, you work him 7 and 8, you're giving guys in the bullpen a big time rest that they might need. So I got to go with Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes is going to be my guy this year, and I love watching Matt Barnes come out too. The guy throws heat.
Well, look, it's a good pick, and obviously he's a big part. If you want a sexy answer, check out forhims.com. They're the sponsors of tonight's roundtable. Gentlemen, did you know that it is easier to keep the hair you have than replace the hair you've lost? Thanks to hims.com. Thanks to Hims, baldness is now just an option. Hims will pair you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to keep your hair looking good throughout the season. If you visit forhims, that's forhims.com/report, you can get a $5 trial while supplies last. So hurry up and sign up. That's forhims, forhims.com/report for the $5 trial. For Mike Petraglia and Nick Quaglia, my name's Alex Barth. Make sure to check out the rest of our coverage throughout opening day and the season on CLNSmedia.com and on Twitter at Red Sox CLNS. We hope you enjoyed this one. We'll talk to you next time.